the IDF immediately put out a statement saying that 28-year-old correspondent Anas Al-Sharif, who had become extremely well known in Gaza for his broadcasting during the war, they said that he served as the head of a terrorist cell in Hamas and produced documents including personal rosters, lists of terrorist training courses, phone directories and salary documents that they said proved he belonged to Hamas. But since then, a number of journalists, including many from the BBC, have said that this evidence, to their eyes, very experienced war correspondents, is not convincing. And the reason this matters so much is that if the IDF has deliberately targeted a group of journalists in Gaza City, and it turns out that that man, Al-Sharif, was not a Hamas terrorist, then that would constitute a war crime.
I also would point, there are photos where this alleged journalist is hugging the head of Hamas and smiling and yucking it up for the cameras. There is evidence that indicates that he was an asset for Hamas. And if it's proven that he isn't, then that's a different calculation. But right now, the evidence points to the fact that he was. And why would someone pose as a journalist? I mean, I know why they would do it, but I think that's incredibly despicable if somebody is pretending to be just reporting the news, but is actually being a participant in the outcome. It's like if a referee at an American football game, instead of wearing the striped jersey of the referee, decides to put on a team jersey and actually root for one team over the other and aid and abet one team over the other. But the big difference is that in football, it's just a game, really doesn't matter. This matters. People are dying there every day. And anyone who helps Hamas, who is sympathetic to them, who aids and abets them, I can understand they would be a target.
But there is no actual hard evidence that he was a Hamas terrorist. The only evidence that appears to be old pictures of him with Hamas leaders, of which there would be many people in Gaza who would do pictures of that nature with the governing body. This is prior to October the 7th. I think judging people as terrorists prior to October the 7th, when this was a government that was being financially supported by Israel, amongst others, to the tune of billions of dollars, is pretty disingenuous. And the reason this has inflamed tension so much, both in Gaza and around the world, is twofold, Ambassador. One is that, as you know, foreign journalists have been banned from entering Gaza for the last 2 years, since October the 7th, which is in direct contravention of how almost every war zone ever in modern times has operated in relation to foreign journalists being allowed to do their jobs. So it's been impossible to verify a lot of these claims that the IDF makes about incidents like this. But secondly, if it turns out this guy was not actually a Hamas terrorist, then what has happened here is that a group of journalists have been targeted deliberately in a war crime. And this is not the first group of journalists in Gaza who've been killed. Over 200 journalists now, Palestinian journalists, have been killed in Gaza since the start of the war, which is more than the number of journalists killed in pretty much every other post-Second World War war put together.